Hey, what's going on, guys? Just want to do a video on how to calculate the RSI, Relative Strength Index, in Excel, and kind of like the formula to it. Basically, you're going to need some historical data, of course, at first. You can copy paste it from Yahoo Finance. I just use this Excel price feed, which uses their data anyway, but it's like a little API provider. So you want to get your historical data. Let's do Microsoft. I'm gonna go do that. I'm just gonna go back like a year or something. We're just gonna do just the close. Okay, so we got the dates and where Microsoft closed on that given day. And so to calculate the RSI, first we're gonna need the change. So we're just gonna need change in price, and that is current from past. So we're going to say equals this, the present change minus the past change. That's all we're going to do for that. Drag that down. It's going to calculate everything from there. And like I said in my other video, I kind of go through this stuff a little bit slower, but I'm going to show you. So in the next stage, we're going to say if the change is greater than 0, then return it here. And if the change is less than 0, then return it here. Okay, so we're going to say equals if. Now it's going to ask for a logical test. If the change is greater than symbol, greater than 0, then we're going to return the value of the change. That's the value of true, comma. Now the value of false would be 0. And basically, it's going to show you all the times that the change were positive. So all the ones that are positive will show up here. All the ones that are negative will be a 0. And now we're going to do the opposite here. We're going to look for values that are less than 0 in the change category. Let's make that a yellow for now, and we'll make this green. And then now we're going to do the negative side. I'm going to say equals if the change is less than 0, then now the value of true. Now what we want to do is we want all the negative numbers to appear here, but we want them to return in a positive value. So to get the positive value, you have to use an absolute function in Excel. So absolute is ABS, and that's it, ABS for absolute. And then you're going to put in parentheses the change here. Close that. So you have the absolute value of C3, C4, C5, and so forth. That's the value of true. Now, comma. Now the value of false will be 0 again. And that will be that. So we'll mark that as red. So now, as you can see, all of the negative numbers will return here, but will be in a positive form. And that's the measurement on how to calculate RSI. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the average of each one of these. So we're going to go the average, and RSI is set as 14 in standard. You can do any number you want and play around with all kinds of different numbers. But for this, we're going to do 14 average. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on the positive side first. We're going to go 14 down. You can see right here, there's 14. You can count them. You can do whatever you want. But that's going to be the 14 average. So we're going to do the average of the positive changes. Okay. So the average is here. Now we want to do the average 14 of the negative changes. You could do it. You could do that formula again, or you could just drag it over, and it's going to calculate these 14 as well. So now what you're going to do is go below the positive side. So keep in mind, this is the positive side. This is the negative side. We're calculating this with this and this with this. G with E, F with D. Okay. So now we're below this. Now basically we want to create an accumulating ratio for it. And 14 minus 1 is 13. So we're going to say equals 13 times is an asterisk symbol in Excel, 13 times, we're going to do the positive side plus the positive side accumulator, okay? And then we're going to close that bracket off. So 13 times this plus this divided by 14, divided by our ratio. So, and then we're just going to click this little box on the bottom right corner, drag that down, and we're going to do the same thing on the negative side. So we're going to say equals 13 times the negative side now. So this plus the accumulator on the negative side divided by 14. So that's going to be that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have a ratio. And it's going to be a simple ratio. It's going to be the positive side divided by the negative side. So we're going to say equals this divided by this. Oops. And that's going to be our ratio. And now what we're going to do is we're going to turn the ratio into an oscillator, basically an oscillator that oscillates from 0 to 100. And we're going to do that by saying equals 100 minus, now we're going into a separate equation, so keep that in mind, parentheses, so 100 minus parentheses 100 divided by, now we're going to do another one, so I'll explain this after. So divided by the ratio plus 1. So I close that out. So you can see the red brackets are its own equation. And then the 100 divided by this will be its own equation as well. So that's its own equation, and then you're going to, and that's it with the formula. So now you can go and you can lower the decimals down and make it more like an actual RSI. And this will give you the RSI. A lot of people use RSIs like 70s overbought, and 70s overbought, 30s oversold, things like that. But other people use like the direction and price of it. You could calculate it in so many ways. You could even like do like the average, let's just say the average of the 3 average of the RSI. And then you could say equals, if this is greater than this, give me a 1. If not, give me a -1. I go through more explanation on the ones and negative ones and all that to come up with signals in the other video if you want to check that out. But basically it will show you, is the RSI trending up or is it trending down? So like -1, it's trending down, like trending up, like all that kind of stuff. And then you could also even ask Excel like equals, if this is greater than 60, then give me a 1. If not, give me a 0. And you could do it like that. Add in that, so that would tell you if it's higher than 60, maybe it's time to sell. And then you could do it the opposite way. You can say equals, if this is less than 40, then give me a 1. Give me a 0. You could do that the opposite way. This will tell you, hey, it's below 40, below 40 here, and so forth. And there's all kinds of other ways you can do that. I'll do a lot more videos on this kind of stuff, but just wanted to keep it on the RSI, and hopefully that helps you guys out there. Let me know what I could improve on in the video, all that kind of stuff. Appreciate you guys listening, especially if you did this far, and happy trading out there, and peace out, guys.